What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Scouting Network. I'm your host, Joey Garcia, and today we are kicking off the Linebackers 2024 Summer Scouting List. So we have, I believe, 8 or 9 guys on this list. So let's go ahead and get started. The first guy, Justin Jacobs, is going to play at Oregon this year. Last year, he was at Iowa on that amazing defense. Um, Working in there with Jack Campbell, who was a first-round pick from that defense. Hoping to see a lot more from him as he kind of takes on the Oregon defense by himself with Noah Sewell also leaving Oregon. So he is 6'4", 240 pounds, and he's extremely explosive. He's someone that has really good hip fluidity and can move laterally and quickly change direction. So this helps out with his zone coverage ability, his man coverage ability. I think he's really good in both of those areas of coverage. He can cover linebackers with his size, but I think he's got hip fluidity enough where he can cover like elite running backs out of the backfield. If they motion into the slot, he'll be okay there. And in zone, he really has a good instinct in understanding how to play off the receivers in his zone. He's not great at blitzing, and he also triggers late on runs, so he's not the best run defender, but he's got the size. I think he just needs more of the experience to kind of be able to recognize when he needs to trigger downhill. So that's something that I'm hoping to see from him this year, but he's a very good coverage corner, worst case. The next guy, we have Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma. He's 6'4", 235 pounds. And he is a very, very good athlete. He's got the speed that you'll need and the coverage skills to keep up with tight ends. So this is a guy who can go sideline to sideline as well. His zone coverage, his zone coverage is okay. He doesn't play as well as Justin Jacobs does that we were just talking about on the last one, but he plays adequately in the zone. If you put him out there on third downs and give him a coverage, he's not gonna be a liability out there. I think one of his better traits is the ability to blitz the A gaps. He times it up really well with the cadence, and he gets sideways and sometimes breaks through almost untouched from the center and guard. The one thing that I do not like is that he plays a little soft. He is only 235 pounds, and he's got a thinner frame, but he doesn't play physical enough, I feel like. And then also with his frame, I know he is 6'4", but he tends to kind of almost be straight-legged a lot of the times when guards will come up to him at the second level, or if he's coming downhill, and he ends up not getting a good anchor and kind of just gets run off or even ran over. So that's another thing I would like to see him get better at, is getting in position, in an athletic position, a little bit more. Because right now if he's late or if someone gets to him at the second level, he's kind of a liability in the run. All right, our number 3 guy is Tommy Eichenberg from Ohio State. He's 6'2", 240 pounds, and he's very, very physical. The opposite of what we were just talking about with Stutzman. He is very, very physical, as well as being athletic, explosive, and rangy. He's very rangy, can go laterally. The only thing that I didn't really understand in the tape is that with his athleticism, his explosiveness, his range to go sideways to sideways, was that he wasn't that great in coverage. I thought he'd be an elite cover guy, and I don't know if it's just not fully understanding the position right now and not really understanding how to play leverage properly. But in man coverage and zone coverage, he almost looked a little lost out there. So I think right now he has everything that you want in a first and second down linebacker. He's got the size, he's got the physicality, he's got the explosiveness. But he does have the athleticism where if you can develop him, he could be a 3-down linebacker. He could be someone that can play well on third downs. I don't know if it's instincts. I don't know if it is just not fully understanding coverage yet. But that is something that I think should be able to get picked up on unless it's purely an instincts thing and he just doesn't have the instincts for it. So, but other than that, he's got all the tools. That's why he's our number 3 guy. Going to our number 2 guy, Omar Spites. He's going to play at LSU this year. He is from Oregon State. Last year he played at Oregon State. He was a captain at Oregon State. He's 6'1", 235 pounds. So he's a little bit undersized, but man, this dude is the best coverage linebacker I've seen. He's got elite instincts in coverage, whether it's playing man coverage or playing zone. He doesn't have the best speed, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of man coverage with his height and his length in the NFL going up against tight ends. I don't think he'll be someone that's going to be asked to cover tight ends very often, just because I think if you go up against some of these bigger tight ends, these 6'5", 6'6" guys, his height and speed, there's no benefit to it. So he's more of a zone coverage guy. He's a very good blitzer, and he's a really good tackler. You would think at his size, being a smaller guy, he wouldn't like to tackle, but he's a very violent tackler. I think it's because he is so compact. He's just not afraid. The only negative I have on him would be that he doesn't hold up in the run game as much as I'd want. He's probably right now, and probably honestly forever, he's going to be a 4-3 will. I think that's the only thing he can do. I don't think he's versatile enough where he can play inside unless he puts on another 10 to 15 pounds, just because he gets covered up by offensive linemen. He can't deconstruct off that because his arms are smaller or shorter, and he just kind of gets run off the point of attack. So he's purely a zone coverage 4-3 will linebacker, but he does that phenomenally. So that's why I have him as my number 2. I think as the year goes on, if one or two of those other guys can end up taking a jump in front of him, he could fall to my number 4, number 5 linebacker. But as of now, because he has an elite trait, we're going to put him at number 2. All right, and the last guy on here, our number 1 guy is Jeremy Trotter Jr. from Clemson. He's 6 feet tall, 230 pounds, so he is smaller, but he is condensed. He's a very good athlete in space. He's very instinctual in coverage. Again, it seems like a lot of these linebackers are getting more and more comfortable being out in space, and he's definitely one of them. He's a very, very good blitzer, and he also is very good triggering downhill on runs, but also instinctual enough to understand when he needs to scrape over top and get lateral to get those guys out there and chase down bubble screens and whatnot. He does struggle to deconstruct blocks sometimes, but there are other times that he does it really, really well and just dominates, gets past the guard, and blows things up in the backfield. So he just needs to get a little more consistent with that, but this is definitely my LB1, and I don't really think it's that close. All right, let's get to a few of these honorable mentions. So the first one I've got up here is Terrence Lewis from UCF. He is 6'3", 190 pounds. So he's a very small linebacker, but they play him at linebacker. They play him as an outside guy. He's very good in coverage. He tackles well for his size. You would think at 190 pounds he wouldn't like contact. He likes contact a lot. Obviously, he doesn't do well with guards coming up to the next level or really helping out on the inside. But going around the outside and coverage especially, he does really well in coverage. He covers slot receivers well. He covers tight ends well, especially with his reach. But, again, he's sub 200 pounds. So as of right now, I think he's a package linebacker, and that's really all you could do at the NFL level. Xavier Sori Jr. from Georgia is another guy that I'm intrigued with. He was a 5-star coming out. He hasn't gotten any playing time really right now other than special teams because if you haven't noticed, Georgia's linebacker cores have been elite for the last 3 years. I think they've had 6 total guys go to the NFL over the last 3 years. So I think this is going to be his year, and he's exciting. He's a bigger, a longer linebacker, but he's like sub 215 pounds. So he's also a smaller guy, but he's very good in coverage. And again, he's a very, very good He's very good in coverage. Like I said, sorry about that. He's good in coverage, and he's also a physical tackler. He's got a really good motor from what you can see from his special teams playing time, because the majority of his plays are on special teams right now. And I'm excited to see what he can do against the run, because you really haven't seen that yet. The next guy, Barrett Carter from Clemson, obviously, got to watch him while I was watching Jeremy Trotter, and he's another guy who's good in coverage. So, like we were talking, him, and I'll even put in Small Munden Jr. from Georgia, since we were just talking about the last Georgia guy. All these linebackers are really good in coverage. You want to see them be more comfortable playing downhill. That's basically all these honorable mention guys. You want to see them be more comfortable playing downhill. But in coverage, these guys are really, really good. And if they can be comfortable inside the box, tackling inside the box, I think it's going to boost their draft stock tremendously. Last guy we've got on here is Justin Flo. He's at Arizona State now. He was at Oregon. This is the guy that took over with the meme of his six-pack and everything like that after, man, I can't remember who the first guy was that did it. But he's a very athletic, physically fit guy, but he just hasn't really done anything over the last few years. I want to see him take his physical traits and abilities and convert them into playmaking and production. So that's why I got him on here, but you just haven't seen it yet. So I'm hoping to see something this year at Arizona State. Maybe a fresh, fresh start could be good for him. So that's all I got for you guys. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. And if there's any linebackers that I forgot that you want to mention down in the comment section below, go ahead and do that. And I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sorry I didn't put this out until Tuesday. It was supposed to be out on Monday. It's out on Tuesday. So Wednesday we'll have the interior defensive lineman. So have a good day, guys. Peace.